How have you seen God's light? How have you experienced God's love in your life today? My name is Jen McBride with All Is Light, and I am trying to take the time every day to write down and reflect on how I see God's light and how I experience His love. And this week, I have been reflecting a lot as it's June and it's the end of the school year. I've been reflecting on some of my favorite students. Now, they're all my favorite. I love them all. But there's some that are way more challenging than others. And there's some that we tend to learn, and I've learned more from as a teacher. And I'm like, I think they've taught me more than I've taught them. And this was the case a couple of years ago. I had a group of juniors in high school. And these were a popular group of young men who were all on the football team, very fun, very outgoing leaders, just amazing students, amazing people, hard to teach at times because they all wanted to be in charge and they all wanted to lead. But this group of young men were some of the most confident young men I have ever met. And do you want to know one of the secrets to their confidence? This group of popular young men, football players, were some of the most inclusive, God-fearing men I have ever met. They loved God, and they reflected every week as a group how they had seen God's hand and how they had experienced His love in their life. They texted a group of friends and invited, hey, anyone's invited, invite people. And on Sunday night, they would gather together. This wasn't a church-sanctioned thing. This wasn't something the parents had asked them to do. This is something they did on their own. They gathered together to share how they had experienced God's love, how they'd seen His light, what truth they had learned that week. They would share scriptures or quotes or an experience they had had that week with God. Now, this young group of young men included women. They just included imagine the popular football and cheerleaders all gathering together to talk about Jesus. And that's what you're going to see, these beautiful, popular, confident young men and young women. I learned so much from them. They invited all together. They would sit in a room and go around the room and share, each individual one by one, how they'd experienced God's love, how they'd seen His light, what they learned about God and His truth that week, how He'd helped them overcome some challenge in their life. And once they'd gone around the room one by one, they'd go around the room again and give everyone the opportunity to share one by one. And as I imagine the Lord, I imagine Him ministering one by one to each of us. And I love that these young men and young women shared one by one how they'd seen. And the more they shared, the more their confidence in the Lord increased. I've met a lot of youth. I've taught high school to college for the last 20-something years. And I have never met a more confident group of individuals who are barely 16, 17 years old. Our confidence increases as we look to the Lord for miracles, as we look for His hand, as we look for how He expresses His love to us. These young men and young women knew and looked for miracles. They looked for the Lord's hand in their life. They expected God to perform miracles in their life. I am so grateful I got to learn from them. I invite you to look for how you experience God's love. How do you see His hand in your life? What truths are you discovering today and this week? And I invite you to share that with others. As we share, our confidence in the Lord increases, and our confidence in ourselves and our ability to access heavenly power increases. I have seen this in my life, and I've seen this in the life of my students who I love. Many of these young men right now are out throughout the world, many in South America, serving missions, serving the Lord and teaching others how to access heavenly power. I love these young men and young women. I'm so grateful for their example, and I testify as we look for God's hand in our life, as we look for His love, and as we search for His truth, our confidence in Him increases, our faith in Him increases, and our faith in our own ability to access godly, heavenly help in our time of need increases. Thank you for joining me in Morning Messages of Hope and Inspiration. If you like these messages, please like, subscribe, and share. Thank you, and I love you. Have an awesome day.